So I actually have two stories that go with this. So after I got married, I moved away. One day I decided to stop by and surprise my mom with a visit. The key to her house, and I knew the code to her alarm system, so I just let myself in. I walk into the living room and I yell for my mom. I'm like, "Mom, it's me, I'm down here." And she goes, "I'm upstairs." Remember, I was like, "Mom, just come down, like I'm down here." Remember, I had my daughter with me and I had some bags with me, so I wanted her to come down. And I heard again when Mom said, "Just come up, I'm in my room." So I started making my way up the stairs. As I'm halfway up the stairs, I just stop. I don't know what it was, but something just told me to stop. I look down at my phone and I see my mom calling me. So I pick up and it's my mom telling me that she got a notification of the alarm system telling her that I just came into the house and that she was on her way home. Who the heck was upstairs? I ran outside and I waited for her in the backyard. She came in and there was no one home. There was no one there. And then I have another story. Story number 2. This one actually happened to my brother.
Alafia! My name is Oshun, and on this channel, we uncover the creepiest, most unusual haunted TikToks the internet has to offer. Do me a favor. Please like, comment, and subscribe for your weekly dose of supernatural coming to you every Sunday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. We got another good video coming to you right now, so let's get into this video.
There was some crazy story that happened about a was there.
Flight 3640 will service.
So there is a girl on this airplane who looks so much like me that I got stopped once at TSA and again while boarding the plane, saying that they couldn't scan me through again because they thought that I had already been through. So I found her at the gate, and there was a lady who overheard me telling the story about how I got stopped at TSA because we look similar, and she said, "I thought y'all were the same person."
What happened was
Sex bomb, you're my sex bomb, and you can give it to me, but sex bomb.
This is the story of the time I had an interaction with a doppelganger. This was late 2019, and my husband and I went to spend the night at a friend's house. Their house was a few minutes from campus, so it wasn't a long drive at all. Everything that night was fine, nothing out of the usual. But then the next day, I want to say around 11 a.m., we were still waiting for our friend Cameron to wake up. For reference, his bedroom was upstairs, we were in the living room area, And my husband got up and went to go talk to one of the other roommates who was in the room that was like connected to the living room. So he had his back facing the stairs. Whereas I was sitting on the couch, I could see Jordan, my husband, and then also the stairs leading upstairs and downstairs. We were waiting on our friend Cameron to wake up because he was going to be the one driving us back to campus. And all of a sudden, I hear somebody running down the steps super loudly. It was like obnoxiously loud. Something about it just didn't feel right. Anyways, Cameron comes running down the steps. He looks like he's dressed for the day, looks like he just took a shower. But like I said, the footsteps were really loud, so I even looked over and I made the comment. I said, "Damn, you're like a bull in a china cabinet." And he laughed and said, "Yeah, I guess so." Opens the front door, walks out, and shuts it. Jordan turns around and he was like, "Where'd Cam go?" I said, "He just ran outside. I thought he was the one that was driving us back to campus." So Jordan went to look outside because obviously we didn't want our ride back to just leave and us not know where he was going. So he looks outside. Cameron's car is still there, parked right out front. Cameron is nowhere to be seen. So Jordan texts him. I think he texts him. He maybe calls him and was like, "Where are you going?" Cameron was like, "Dude, I'm upstairs. What are you talking about?" He hadn't come downstairs yet. I could have told you down to every last detail what this man was wearing before I had ever actually seen him that day. And there's only one way to get down to the main level and out the door from upstairs. And it was the stairway which I saw Cam come down, and he never went back up. It was all very bizarre. We actually ended up moving into that house a few months later to join the roommates, and even more crazy shit happened.
Everybody told me that I sound like CG5. Probably because I am CG5.
No, I didn't kill my mom. She's living her best life now.
Have you ever seen your doppelganger, or have you ever seen the doppelganger of a family member? Or have you ever heard the voice of your mom calling you, but she was never home? Story time, this person wants to remain anonymous. I'll explain why at the end. For the sake of the story, let's call her Millie. So Millie came home from school one day. She was just relaxing when she heard the intercom going off. Now Millie lives in an apartment building where you have to buzz to get in. Millie looks at the screen on the intercom and sees that it's her sister that's ringing the doorbell. Without even thinking about it, she hits the button and lets her in. Only to turn around and see that the sister that she just let in is actually walking out of her bedroom. Her sister asks her, "Who was that?" Millie, with a very pale face, tells her, "That was you. You just rang the doorbell. I buzzed you in. I saw you clearly in the camera." They are both terrified when they realize that the elevator is actually going up and is getting ready to reach their door. Millie quickly goes and locks the front door while they just sit there in silence. They decided to call their mother, who was a very highly religious person. Their mother instructed them to stay quiet and to pray. Just as they're sitting there praying, they hear the doorbell ring. Millie, thinking that it's her mom, she looks out of the peephole but sees that it's actually her sister. The only difference is that this time her sister's hair looks different. She has it like up in a ponytail. But whatever this is looks identical to her sister. Then this thing spoke and it yelled out Millie's name and said, "I'm tired, open the door." It sounded almost identical to her sister. The only difference was that this thing's voice was distorted. They ran to their praying room and started praying even harder until their mom finally made it home. The minute their mom got home, they told their mom in full detail about everything that took place, and their mom told them to never speak of this to anyone, because the minute it knows that they know, it will come.
All you wanna do is see me
Yeah, those boys did favor each other. I don't know about doppelganger, but they did look a lot alike. But you could tell they were two different ethnicities. At least that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. But the teacher doppelganger story is crazy. Like, and the fact that the thing was like showing itself in front of the students in the classroom, but she couldn't see it, man. What? Oh, hell to the no. Nope. Hell to the no. That's crazy. That's even more like effed up that she couldn't see it herself. But why was she changing schools though? I don't know. But I don't know. And then the ladies on the plane, they were basically like matching outfits and like hairdos. I don't think that they really looked alike in the face. I think it was just more of a coincidence than a doppelganger situation. But let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think that they look like doppelganger style? And then the guy that was rubbing the lady and she just looking. She ain't saying nothing like, sir, what are you doing? She just wanted him to catch on like your wife is right here. That was funny though. That was funny. Anyway, next ciao. Next video.
Me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable, but is entirely true. I'll go.
So I know a lot of people don't believe in ghost stories and stuff like that, but I wanted to go ahead and just kind of talk about doppelgangers. Yeah, I used to live in the country with my ex, and my sister-in-law was staying with us for a little while, and she was in the kitchen talking on the phone, and she was on the phone, so I went ahead and went to my room, and then I hear Shelly, I was like, so I come out of the room, and I go to the kitchen, I was like, hey, what's up? And she's in the hallway, looking towards my kid's room, and she's like, how did you do that? I mean, how'd you get over here so fast? And I was like, what? And she's like, I just saw you go over there. I was like, no, I was in my room. And she's like, no, I literally I saw you. You came out of the restroom. You had some blankets in your hand. You looked through the blankets, and then you went into the kid's room. I was like, no, I didn't. So she started freaking out. I started freaking out. Because that wasn't the first time that had happened. The second time someone thought they saw me was my ex, who does not believe in ghosts, was outside working on his big rig, and it was dark, so he had his headlights on, and I'm inside in the kitchen, and I'm washing dishes. He comes inside, and he's like, what do you want? I'm looking at him like, what? He's like, what do you want? I said, what do you mean, what do I want? He's like, why did you come outside? And I was like, dude, I'm washing dishes. Like, you see me washing dishes. I didn't go outside. He's like, Michelle, I literally just saw you walk in front of my truck. So you walk through the damn headlights. I watch you walk up to the porch, and I watch you walk inside. What did you want? I said, I don't know what you saw, but it wasn't me. Not even hear the door open. I was like, so it wasn't me. I don't know what you're talking about. So he just kind of looks at me, and he turns around and walks away and never talks about it again. Never. I'm like, because he refused to acknowledge everything that was going on in that house. And he did experience some things that he just refused to admit it. It's crazy. It's like, he's like, no, there's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason. Ain't no reason you'll see me, baby. Ain't no reason. Anyways, I thought I'd give that story because it was creepy. It's scary. And my mom's like, that's an evil spirit. That's a demon. Demons do that. And I was like, great, we have a demon in the house. So, yeah, that's my story. Have a good night.
Guys, I just found my doppelganger. Like, she looks exactly like me.
Quick glance. Touch stuff.
That's her. This has nothing to do with it, but are you kidding me? Cowboy McNugget?
Creep mode. Ooh, nice car.
I'm Kiki Bonique. I live in Los Angeles, California.
My name is Elaine, and I'm from Dublin, Ireland.
Hi, twin. Oh my gosh. Oh my god,
hi, secret sister. I knew you'd be short.
I was hoping you'd be short. I was like, you're just taller than me. I'm gonna hate her.
I knew you'd be little. Oh my gosh.
I love it. We're little. I don't know why this makes me teary.
I know, this is so weird.
I can feel it in me waters that I think we're going to get on. I need to just stare at you for a minute. Is that all right?
That's fine. I'm staring at you.
Bizarre.
But we turned out to have the exact same personality type, that was actually the most shocking part of it all.
That we look a bit alike is kind of feels a bit irrelevant. You know, that's what brought us together, but that's not what sustains a relationship.
Tell me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable but is entirely true.
So you want to hear a ghost story? I got one for you. There was a doppelganger of my brother when I was growing up. I think I saw him about 4 times. Another time, his girlfriend at the time saw him. One of the first occurrences, though, was when I was about 8. He was 6. I was getting dressed, and I was, grabbing pants out of my dresser. And out of the corner of my eye, I noticed my door start to swing open. And I saw him start to come into my room, and I was like, no, get out, I'm dressing, like one of those things. But as I turned to, tell him to get out, he was not even there. And I didn't hear any footsteps of him, running away into the hall or running to his room, nothing. He was just gone. So that was weird. Pulled on my pants really quick, went downstairs. The next time, I didn't see him, but he used to play in the game room a lot. He would play on his Xbox and, frequently play whatever game was popular at the time. He had a very distinct way, though, of when he would quit his game when it was time for dinner, because my dad would yell upstairs toward him and be like, Dylan, it's time for dinner, screaming at him. And then, Dylan would get off his game, throw his headphones aside, get out of his gaming chair, and then run down the stairs. We heard this one time after my dad yelled up the stairs. However, my dad didn't know that Dylan was already in the kitchen. He was getting a plate for himself already. My mom and Dylan and I all looked at each other like, what just happened? Hey, Dad, by the way, Dylan's right here. He's not upstairs. He's like, oh, must just be the house settling. My ass, the house settling? That was footsteps. Anyway, another time, this was the craziest time for me, was I was getting ready before my afternoon shift for work, and it was beginning of COVID. So, I thought, why not go get some food and have brunch outside and have my brother come with me, get him out of the house for a little bit, because he was still in high school at the time, no school, no friends, no car, no job, broke. Anyway, he needed to get out of the house. So I was thinking, I'm like, okay, I'll go wake him up. I'll let him know that we're gonna go get airport restaurant in town. That was pretty fire chicken fried steak, that was what you get there. And so I'm thinking, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna go tell him about this. We're gonna go get brunch, gonna hop in the car. As I'm thinking about this in my room, I see him walk down the hall. He's already dressed. He's wearing this red shirt. It was a Netflix and chill joke. It just literally said chill, but it was a red t-shirt in the Netflix font. Anyways, it was a very Dylan-esque shirt. Basically, if he was a character and was animated, that would be the shirt that he was animated in. You catch what I'm saying? Then after that, I'm like, okay, cool. I don't have to wake him up. He's already dressed. He's already ready. I just have to yell down the hall. So I'm like, Dylan, you want to go grab airport? Nothing. No response. So I'm like, did he not hear me? Is he ignoring me? So I walk down the hall into the game room. He's not in there. Weird, right? Because I just saw him walking down the hallway. Turn around, and I look towards his bedroom. His bedroom door's closed. He hasn't woken up yet. Huh? I just saw him walk down the fucking hallway. Nobody else is home, mind you. It's just us at the time. What is happening? So I go and knock on his door. Hey, Dylan, good morning. Get up. Anyway, he's like, oh, were you saying something? Yeah, bro. I was asking if you wanted to go get breakfast. And he's like, oh, I was asleep. Okay. Anyway, so I told him about that over breakfast, of course, and he thinks that's whoa, that's trippy. The next time, I didn't see this, but I was still kind of a witness to it because I heard some things. My brother and his girlfriend at the time were going to watch a movie on the TV in the game room on his Xbox, like watch one on Netflix. He was getting ready to turn it on, whatever, remote needed batteries, so he ran downstairs to go get batteries. And then his girlfriend, waiting, just sitting there in the room, hears him run down the hall and stick his hand in the door. Like, he didn't come all the way in, he just kind of hung on the door frame and had his hand around, and he's like, oh wait, I'll be right back, I gotta go to the bathroom. She's like, okay, whatever, why'd you run past the bathroom then on your way in here? Because there's one in the hallway at the top of the stairs. Whatever, he's a weirdo sometimes. Here's the door shut to the bathroom. Here's footsteps again. Dylan comes running in. All right, cool, what are we watching? Didn't you just have to go to the bathroom? That was quick. He goes, what are you talking about? I went to go get batteries. No, you just came up the stairs and you said you had to go to the bathroom. Like, I saw your hand in the doorframe. And for those of you who don't know my brother and don't know why this is extra terrifying, my brother is missing a fingertip. He pinched the tip of his right finger off in an accident when he was younger. That couldn't have been anybody else's hand but his own in the doorframe. And when he got back upstairs, they both came into my room where I was doing homework at the time, and they asked, did you go to the bathroom? No. Why? Well, because the door shut, and we heard the door shut, and Dylan didn't go to the bathroom, but someone did. Well, I didn't go. And we don't shut the doors if, no one's in there. Anyway, so those are the craziest occurrences of the doppelganger in my childhood home. I don't know if it's still there. I haven't seen it since my brother moved out, and since I moved out. I don't know, maybe I'll have to ask my mom for some stories.
Guys, I think I found my doppelganger. She is so pretty, OMG. I have to go up to her. Nurse. We took a picture. I also got her number. Should I ask her to make TikToks with me?
Did you know that there's a carbon copy?
This has to be one of the craziest doppelganger stories I've ever heard of. And they even happen to have the same name. In the top two photos is Will West, and in the bottom two photos is William West. So on May 1st, 1903, Will West, the top two photos, was sent to prison, specifically at the Leavenworth prison in Washington. So as they're taking Will in, they start noting down his physical description, they take his photo and measurements as well. But as they're doing all of this, they notice that everything they're taking down matches the description of another inmate named William West. And that would be the guy in the bottom two photos. And they would also discover that William West was in prison for homicide. And so when they confronted Will West with this information, he started to deny that he was this man at all. But the problem was that prison officials were so used to criminals lying about almost everything that they didn't believe him. But because Will West was adamant that this was not him and he did not commit such a crime, the authorities decided to look into this a little bit more. And that's when they finally summoned William West to meet Will West. And when the two men saw each other, they were absolutely shocked to see how much they resembled the other. And because prison officials had such a hard time telling the two men apart, they were forced to come up with a new idea. And this eventually led to fingerprints and handprints being taken in order to identify inmates. which is something that is still used to this day. A few years later, Will West was released from prison, and William West was in jail for a longer amount of time and was released in 1919. And unfortunately, not much is known about what happened to them after they were released. But ever since this story came out, there have been plenty of theories as to whether or not these two were secretly related. A former inmate of Leavenworth named George Bean would come forward and say that these two men were definitely related, and that they were actually twin brothers, and that the reason he knew this was because he lived in the same general area as the two as they were growing up. And on top of that, we would also later discover that during their time in prison, both of the men were corresponding with the same people, specifically the same family members, which would lead people to believe that they were somehow related. But like always, let me know what you guys think. And for more crime, creepy, and unbelievable stories, check out my YouTube. The link is in my bio.
Hey, the fact that Willie West and William West, same name, almost look, well, basically the same name. Yeah, they look not identical, but identical. I could tell the difference between the two, but the one's cheeks was like sunk in more, and he looked like he might have been a little older. But definitely, that was good. And they're the reason for fingerprinting. Interesting. Back in 1905, between 1905 and 1919, I should have looked to see what Google say about it. But anyway, so the first video, someone telling you with all their might that they just saw you, just spoke to you, and you're like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. They're like, yes, I did. We just talked. We just spoke. Like, this is not this. And you're like, no, wasn't me. So that would be freaking creepy, because now you're going back and forth because you know for a fact it wasn't you, but they know for a fact that it was you. That's nope, I don't want it. And then so I feel she needs to pray. She needs to pray, whatever that is, on her. All these people that have that, like the one that was sitting right next to him, and she couldn't see, but the people could see. Like, that's too much. Like, too much for me. Okay, but the fact that those ladies had the same hair, the black ladies or Puerto Rican, whatever they were, they had the same hair, the same outfit. They were both small. They had the same personality. I think that was insane and really cute. I love that. And then the girls in the store, she was being a little creep. They do look alike. They look identical. That was like the same person. But next video.
Everyone in the world has a doppelganger, and I can prove it. Remember these lovely ladies? Total strangers, but when they found each other, they were like, oh, you're my doppelganger. So it spurred on a trend, like a whole website dedicated to finding your doppelganger. I actually have found mine, but I won't post a picture, but it is good. But look at these two, strangers that met on a plane. Identical. They stayed in the same hotel and got beers together. These girls, same age, strangers, identical. How are these two not related? They look the same. These total strangers chose the same facial hair and glasses. What? But the best one of all, this guy's looking at this guy like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take over your life. Oh no, please don't, I love my wife. I mean, even celebrities, I couldn't tell you which one is which. I think everyone has a doppelganger, we've just not found them yet. Or they found you and they're just waiting to take over your life.
Chance to meet Caroline today?
You gotta curl your hair.
That's your joke? Is that the joke?
We do look a lot alike. That's right. Look back there. See in the monitor? See? Good.
Okay. Okay.
Curly hair.
Yeah. That's your team, Oprah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see it.
That's it. Curly hair.
I was so not getting it.
How old are you? How old are you?
52.
52.
Yes.
Okay, you got to curl your hair.
Next time.
You got to curl your hair because the curly is the way to go. These two.
I thought you would go back.
Huh?
I thought you were going back. I thought it was I go back some days. It depends upon what I'm wearing. Like, I probably should have worn it straight today because when you have other stuff around, the curly's not as good. But Quincy Jones called me, Quincy, my dear friend, called me the other night and he goes, I got one thing to say to you, baby. Keep it curly. It looks very curly. Keep it curly. So, but it looks very good. You look good too. Do you get stopped a lot, asked if you're me? Constantly. 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 Where do you live? I live in Las Vegas. Las Vegas, really? Yes. Okay. That is so hysterical. That is hysterical. Oprah, I'm a flight attendant. Uh-huh. And it's constant. It's constant. You're just holding that tray. You just, Can I get you a drink? Can I get you a drink? And so what? Because they think I would just be on the flight or what? For what airline? For what airline? United. United. Yes. That's great. Everybody's asking me for cars. Yeah, huh? Everybody's asking me for cars. For cars. Everybody. Tell them you're fresh out. I love it. It's fun. It's fun. A ball. I'm having a ball. Good. Use it. Curl your hair.
Okay, so the weirdest thing just happened to me when I was in Target, and I have to get on here and talk about it because it is like the craziest thing I think I've ever experienced. So I was walking around in Target, just minding my own business, shopping, right? And I come across this girl, and when me and her locked eyes, I can't even explain it, y'all. Oh my God, it was so weird. When I saw her, it was literally, I thought I was looking at myself in a mirror that was in Target when I saw her. So it was like I spotted her, and when I first spotted her, it was like I was looking in a mirror, and then we locked eyes, and when we locked eyes, like we both just had the most shocked expression on our face. Like we were both looking at each other like, and like, I know this sounds crazy, but I swear to you that I really think I just saw my doppelganger, because when I saw her, I got the weirdest feeling, like almost like I wasn't even supposed to be seeing her. And I could be wrong, but like I said, her face looked just as shocked as my face was. So I feel like she was getting the same vibe as me. Like, holy shit, we look identical. And like after this happened, it was literally like my whole entire mood shifted. Like I got in the worst mood ever. Everything was just so overwhelming to me. I got this loud ringing in my ears. And then I went home and literally had a panic attack. Full-blown chest exploding panic attack. And like, even as I'm recording this TikTok right now, like this shit is acting funky because I'm about to show you. Oh my God, y'all, this is what I'm saying. I keep trying to, oh my God. Every time I go back to keep recording, like it won't let me record. It keeps freezing. And then I tried to screenshot it and show you so I could put it in the video, and it won't even let me put it in the video. That's what I'm saying. This shit is weird, y'all. Like, did I just do something? Like, did I just like hex or curse myself by seeing my doppelganger today? Because I'm freaking the fuck out. Like, y'all, I'm scared. And if anybody can tell me anything about this situation, like, if you can comment and say something or stitch this and tell me something that will make me feel better, because I'm tripping out right now. Because I know that I saw my doppelganger today, and now I feel like something is wrong with me.
I get told often that I look like you, from like artists I interview to like random people at events. And then I also did the look that you did for the Take Me There video with Blackstreet.
Oh my goodness. This is so on point. I thought that was me.
Like I paid attention to all the details.
The Maya doppelganger is crazy. She was like, wait, oh shoot, I thought that was me. But what's crazy is I remember growing up when Maya came out. We probably, I don't know, but I remember during that phase, like all little pretty light-skinned girls, like favorite Maya. Like she had a bunch of doppelgangers back then. That was crazy. I remember them days. But all of the strangers in the first video, knowing and not knowing, but finding each other and taking pictures and looking just alike, like it looked like identical. Like every single one of those photos and the videos, they look all identical to each other. Like, that's crazy. I don't know if I want to see my doppelganger up close in person. I don't know. We'll see. But I've been told that I have like a couple of them, especially where I'm from in Pittsburgh. But I wonder what happened to the Oprah doppelganger. The lady with the accent, doppelganger. I like that. But I wonder what happened to Oprah's doppelganger, because she looked just like her, and then she just gave out her business. Ain't no telling what Holly Weird, honey. And that's a plug for the next video. But yeah, ain't no telling what Holly wear. I wonder what happened after that. But and then do you think there's side effects to seeing your doppelganger? Like the last one, she was talking about how she like had an instant bad mood and she wasn't feeling well and all of that stuff. So they could have been, their dimensions could have collided and with that one, because who knows? But next videos.
So I've got a doppelganger, and it's starting to get ridiculous at this point. I mean, honestly, shit's real fucking weird. A couple months ago, I go into a Sephora. I have never been into the Sephora a day in my goddamn life. I walk in and the lady at the front is like, "Oh my God, welcome in. So good to see you. How's your boyfriend? How's your life? Like, what you doing? You were just here yesterday. Like, why are you back?" This lady would have died on her fucking hill that I was this bitch. I was like, okay, whatever, you know, us white people, we look the same. So I was like, just brushed it off my shoulders. But then fast forward a couple weeks and my boyfriend at the time goes out with his friends to Seattle. I'm living in Tacoma and I'm staying at the house, right? And I get a call from him when he's out and he's like, "Hey, like you went out, like you're out?" I'm like, "I'm sitting on the couch right now." And he's like, "There is a girl here who looks exactly like you." Okay, now this is where it gets real fucking weird. She was wearing the outfit that he had left me in. And do you know what I was fucking wearing when he left? Brown and white checkered bell-bottom pants. The bitch had the same fucking pants on. We had the same haircut. It was both dyed blonde, like everything. And he, like, my boyfriend at the time, we've been together for like over a year as well. And he's like, "I swear to God, that's what I'm calling you. Like, I thought you were here." Like, then there's a grocery store up the street from my house. And I went in the other day and they're like, "Oh, back for more? Like, you were just here." I was like, what do you mean? Right? And if you live in Seattle, like, this city is fucking small. And I live in the city. Obviously, this girl lives in the city. So, like, people seeing us all the time is not rare because, like, it's so small. Like, we are bound to cross in, like, different places. But I mean, like, I'm getting mistaken for her all the fucking time now. Okay, so yesterday, this couple comes into my job, right? And I work here in the city. And they keep looking at me and giving me strange looks. And they're like whispering to each other. And then they keep looking at me and I walk off and I come back. And they're like, "Do you work at Liberty or like Liberty Bar?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Yo, you look exactly like this girl. Like, we thought you were her. It's my friend's sister. Like, you guys look exactly the same." And I'm like, yeah. So now I've got to go to Liberty and see if I look like this bitch. And also, my dad grew up in this area, not my mom, but my dad is a hoe. Like, daddy like father. So I'm like, you know, the possibility of me having a sister is less, like, more than likely than me not having another sibling out there in that world. Like, there's no way my dad hasn't reproduced another bitch. But I'm like, you don't recognize yourself when you see yourself. So I'm like, does this girl really look like me? But this has been crazy. Like, it's been months of being mistaken for her and we keep missing each other and it's getting stupid at this point. So I'm going to go to this bar and try to find her.
A ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable but is entirely true.
I was actually surprised that my last ghost story got the reaction that it got because I really didn't expect people to believe me. I don't really expect people to believe this one. It's less believable than that one, but I do have witnesses. I'm gonna keep this one quick, but to tell you this story, I have to tell you about the house. There's a ton of facts I can tell you about the house, but we're gonna focus on 3. 1, you could tell it had been renovated multiple times, like it wasn't supposed to be a house, or it had been some units or some other things. It was a few other things before it was meant to be a house. 2, there were, I'm going to describe them as strange carvings somewhere in the house. I can touch on that a little bit more, but not for this story. Number 3, the next door neighbors already assumed that we moved in before we had moved in because they saw lights, despite the lights not being on, and heard music. I actually think that the neighbors were trying to tell us multiple different times that something was up and we just didn't catch it until later, but there's going to be a lot more instances of things that it didn't make sense until later. My side of the house had the most activity. There's a little den area and then French doors, bedroom. The den area always sounded like a party was going on. Like it always just sounded like a party going on in the next room. Sometimes in the middle of the night, we would just look at each other like, why is it just so loud? So much was going on. But by that time, we were aware. This story happens before we were really aware. The relationship that I'm in now was new at that time. So we're talking on the phone late at night, cupcaking, falling asleep on the phone, all like the cute stuff like that. At this time, what I remember was I was falling asleep. He's like on a video game, not really looking at the phone, but like he's looking at the screen playing the video game. We talk a little bit like that. This was early on in the relationship. I didn't want him to see me looking crazy. So I remember being like, I don't want to fall asleep on the phone and he sees that I'm drooling or something crazy. So I'm laying down with my head on the pillow, but I have the phone next to the pillow facing upwards. So I can see him, but he can just see darkness because it's just pointed straight up at the ceilings. The ceilings were very high, so it was just darkness. Okay, I'm going to try my best to describe this. So I'm falling asleep. For some reason, I decide to open my eyes, and when I open my eyes, I see my eye on the screen, like fully on the screen. I see him, and in the little box is my eye, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, how did I move the phone? Like I didn't even remember falling asleep, but I'm just trying to figure this out. Mind you, this is like maybe 2 seconds of me looking at it and trying to understand what I'm looking at. I think my brain just wouldn't make sense of it. And I see my eye like slowly back out of the camera and fade into darkness. At this time, he's playing the game and he looks over. I see him see it as it's backing up. But he just like looks back at the game and he continues playing the game. I'm starting to realize something is off, but it's still fairly new in the relationship and I don't want to scare him. I'd never really talked to anybody about what we had been experiencing in the house unless you like lived in the house. But I was definitely not telling him because I didn't want to scare him off. So I'm like, if he doesn't say anything, I'm not going to say anything. And I hear him say something like, that's crazy. So I remember thinking, please be talking about something on the game. So I'm like, what? I remember you saying one thing, you remember you saying another thing. 'Cause I remember you being like, I just saw your face for a second. And you remember being like...
And I said...
So you said that first?
No, I said, why are you looking at the camera like that? Then you said what you said.
Oh, okay. All right. So he says, why are you looking at the camera like that? And I'm kind of shook. So I'm just like, huh? And he's like, I just saw your face for a second. And I was like, no, you didn't. And I immediately shot straight up and took off out the room. There was actually so much about that room that I didn't talk to anybody about it. It just wasn't something that I wanted to talk to anybody about or even admit what was really happening. It wasn't until he started actually sleeping over and having his own experiences and then later opening up to me about the experiences that he had in that house that we started to put the story together and things started to actually fully come together. And I ended up talking to somebody who lived in that house about 30 years before I did, and she confirmed some things too. But that didn't happen until maybe 6 months after I moved out of that house. We didn't put together a lot of things until later.
So I've got a doppelganger, and it's starting to get ridiculous at this point. I mean, honestly, shit's real fucking weird. A couple months ago, I go into a Sephora. I have never been into the Sephora a day in my goddamn life. I walk in and the lady at the front is like, oh my God, welcome in. So good to see you. How's your boyfriend? How's your life? Like, what you doing? You were just here yesterday. Like, why are you back? This lady would have died on her fucking hill that I was this bitch. I was like, okay, whatever, you know, us white people, we look the same. So I was like, just brushed it off my shoulders. But then fast forward a couple weeks and my boyfriend at the time goes out with his friends to Seattle. I'm living in Tacoma and I'm staying at the house, right? And I get a call from him when he's out and he's like, hey, like you went out, like you're out. I'm like, I'm sitting on the couch right now. And he's like, there is a girl here who looks exactly like you. Okay, now this is where it gets real fucking weird. She was wearing the outfit that he had left me in. And do you know what I was fucking wearing when he left? Brown and white checkered bell-bottom pants. The bitch had the same fucking pants on. We had the same haircut. It was both dyed blonde, like everything. And he, like, my boyfriend at the time, we've been together for like over a year as well. And he's like, I swear to God, that's what I'm calling you. Like, I thought you were here. Like, then there's a grocery store up the street from my house. And I went in the other day and they're like, oh, back for more? Like, you were just here. I was like, what do you mean? Right? And if you live in Seattle, like, this city is fucking small. And I live in the city. Obviously, this girl lives in the city. So, like, people seeing us all the time is not rare because, like, it's so small. Like, we are bound to cross in, like, different places. But I mean, like, I'm getting mistaken for her all the fucking time now. Okay, so yesterday, this couple comes into my job, right? And I work here in the city. And they keep looking at me and giving me strange looks. And they're like whispering to each other. And then they keep looking at me and I walk off and I come back. And they're like, do you work at Liberty or like Liberty Bar? And I'm like, no. And they're like, yo, you look exactly like this girl. Like, we thought you were her. It's my friend's sister. Like, you guys look exactly the same. And I'm like, so now I've got to go to Liberty and see if I look like this bitch. And also, my dad grew up in this area, not my mom, but my dad is a hoe. Like, daughter like father. So I'm like, you know, the possibility of me having a sister is less, like, more than likely than me not having another sibling out there in that world. Like, there's no way my dad hasn't reproduced another bitch. But I'm like, you don't recognize yourself when you see yourself. So I'm like, does this girl really look like me? But this has been crazy. Like, it's been months of being mistaken for her and we keep missing each other and it's getting stupid at this point. So I'm going to go to this bar and try to find her.
When I saw her, I got the weirdest feeling, like almost like I wasn't even supposed to be seeing her.
So I happen to know a little bit about doppelgangers, so I had to stitch this. So a few years ago, I went to the gas station by my house, a gas station I'm at all the time, right? And the guy that owns it was an Indian man from India. And he told me one day, hey, by the way, I know where your doppelganger's at. Then he proceeds to tell me basically that there's this woman in India that's on the TV or something. His wife watches. She looks just like me. And he swears up and down it's my doppelganger. Well, at the time, I didn't really know anything about that kind of stuff, you know, so of course I had questions. And he proceeds to tell me that where he's from, it's believed that everyone in the world has 7 doppelgangers, 7 lookalikes that look just like you, that basically are you, spread all over the globe. I believe now that the location of our doppelgangers is tied to our ancestry, because a few years after that, I did one of them DNA tests. And while obviously I am a white woman, my ancestry looks a lot like a box of mixed crackers. But I have a 1% little sprinkle of India, from India, the location of the supposed doppelganger. But anyways, our doppelgangers are all spread out right because we are not supposed to meet them. We're not supposed to come in contact with them at all. Some legends will say it's a bad omen. Others will just say it's a bad idea. Because if you were to touch your doppelganger, if you were to have reached out and touched the other you in Target, one of you would have dropped dead. I don't know why. I don't know which one. Is it a case of the strongest one wins? The oldest one? The one that's the most advanced? I don't know. But I'm pretty certain one of you would have dropped straight up dead. So I'm really glad you didn't touch you. I mean, I don't know why we couldn't be friends with our doppelgangers. Maybe it's like that old Highlander thing, you know, like there can only be one. But yeah, I'm really glad you didn't touch them. But that's also why if we get close to our doppelgangers, if we spot them or whatever, our bodies will respond. It'll start shooting out all these danger signals, right? People get nauseous. They'll get chills. They'll have panic attacks like the girl was talking about. And that is because your body registered the fact that you were in danger. And even though that was probably a super uncomfortable experience, I'm kind of jealous because I think that's super cool. And I've always kind of low-key wanted to meet one of mine just so I could like see which one of us dies. Am I the strongest me? Or are you the strongest me? I don't know, but that's pretty cool.
So if her advice is real, then I got even more questions because it's not making sense. Numbers ain't number. I have even more questions. But that first video, she was really pretty with her little short buzz cut. I love her hair. It was so cute. And I was cracking up at her story. I wonder if her papa, you know, basically she said he was a Rolling Stone. I wonder if he has more kids that she doesn't know about, or was it a doppelganger situation? She said that basically her father was a hoe. Like father, like daughter. I don't know if anybody else caught that. It's like, what? That was funny. But the couple talking about their creepy experiences in that house, honey. That was quite terrifying, actually. No, thank you. No, hell no. No. Mm-mm. But guess what? You made it to the end of another video. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for being here as usual. Appreciate your time. I do not take it for granted. Please like, comment, and subscribe, honey. Make sure you share as well to your aunties, your uncles, your cousins, your sister, your brother. Keep growing. We are growing, honey. We hit over 500 and now we're over 600, about to hit 700, and I'm so excited. And so I did say I would do a giveaway. So if you're still here listening, comment giveaway. The first person who puts giveaway in all caps, I will contact you somehow, some way. We got to get in contact with each other, okay? But anyway, this is the end. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And we out.